The world of comics and commentary is bracing for heartbreaking news as Scott Adams, the legendary creator of Dilbert, is reportedly spending his final days in hospice care. The 68-year-old cartoonist, whose satirical take on office life shaped workplace humor for decades, is now facing the final chapter of a long and painful battle with cancer. According to his first ex-wife Shelley Adams, Scott has been receiving end-of-life care at home for more than a week as his condition rapidly declines. She revealed that doctors believe he may have only days left to live. The news has sent shockwaves through fans, fellow creators, and longtime followers of his work, many of whom grew up reading Dilbert in newspapers and online. Shelley shared that Scott is not alone during this difficult time. She, along with her sister and Scott's stepdaughter, has been caring for him around the clock. Nurses reportedly come and go, providing medical support as the family focuses on keeping him comfortable. As his strength fades, moments of confusion have begun to appear, an emotional reality many families recognize when saying goodbye to someone they love. Despite his declining health, Scott recently showed the same determination that defined his career. He pushed himself to record what may be his final episode of his podcast, Real Coffee with Scott Adams. In the episode, he openly acknowledged the possibility that it could be his last time speaking directly to his audience. For many listeners, it was a raw and sobering moment, one final conversation with a man who spent his life sharing ideas, humor, and sharp observations about the modern world. Scott Adams has been battling prostate cancer for years, but his condition worsened dramatically when the cancer spread to his bones last year. The disease left him paralyzed below the waist, forcing him to confront a future he once spoke about candidly on his podcast. In May of last year, he told his audience that he didn't believe he would survive the summer, a statement that now feels hauntingly close to reality. In a recent health update shared with listeners, Scott admitted he has been getting weaker and weaker, and is simply holding on as long as he can. His honesty, sometimes uncomfortable, always direct, has been a defining trait throughout his career. Even in his most vulnerable moments, he chose transparency over silence. For millions, Scott Adams is more than a cartoonist. Dilbert became a cultural phenomenon, capturing the absurdities of office politics, bad management, and corporate jargon with uncanny accuracy. His work resonated across industries, turning cubicle frustrations into shared laughter. For years, Dilbert strips were pinned to office walls, forwarded in emails, and quoted in meetings as a quiet act of rebellion. Now, as Scott's life draws to a close, fans are reflecting not just on the controversy and commentary that marked his later years, but on the immense impact of his creative legacy. He shaped how people laughed at work, and sometimes how they survived ITS. He remains in hospice care, surrounded by family. The focus has shifted from headlines to humanity. This is no longer just the story of a public figure, but of a man facing the end with honesty, courage, and the support of those closest to him. Whether this truly becomes Scott Adams' final chapter remains to be seen, but one thing is certain: his voice, his work, and his influence will long outlive him. And for many who followed his journey, from comic strips to podcasts, this moment feels like saying goodbye to a familiar presence that quietly shaped everyday life.